Everyone admired this family. Their clothes shone with gold. Their smiles looked peaceful. Their children never lacked anything. But on the night the power went out, one secret slipped out of that house. And from that moment, nothing was ever the same again. They lived in a large, quiet home. The kind of house that made people slow their steps when passing by. At the center was Mama Zola. She was old, rich, and respected. Her voice was soft, but when she spoke, people listened. Gold bracelets never left her wrists. Her head wrap was always perfectly tied. Beside her was her husband, Baba Dlamini, a man who rarely raised his voice, but whose silence carried weight. They had 2 children. Nandi, their daughter, beautiful, obedient, intelligent. And Sibusiso, their son, ambitious, curious, and impatient. To outsiders, they were perfect. Inside the house, they walked carefully around each other. There was one room in their house no one entered. Its door stayed locked. Its key stayed with Mama Zola. Even the cleaners avoided it. When Sibisiso once asked what was inside, his mother looked at him for a long time and said, "Some doors protect you by staying closed." From that day, Sibisiso wanted to know what was inside more than anything else. The night the power went out, the house felt different, too quiet, too still. Mama Zola lit candles and told everyone to stay in their rooms. But Sibusiso didn't listen. He followed the sound of chanting, low, slow, old words he had never heard before. The sound came from the locked room, and the door was open. Inside the room were objects older than the house itself. Clay pots, animal skins, symbols carved into the walls, and his mother standing in the center. Her back was to him. She was speaking to something he could not see. The air felt heavy, like the room was breathing. Then she turned, and for the first time in his life, Sibusiso felt afraid of his own mother. That night, Baba Dlamini told him the truth. The wealth was not luck. It was not hard work alone. It was a promise made generations ago. A promise that demanded obedience. Every generation had to choose someone to carry the burden. Someone had already been chosen, but Sibusiso didn't know who. Nandi knew more than she said. She avoided eye contact. She avoided the house. She avoided the truth. When Sibusiso confronted her, she whispered, "If you love this family, stop asking questions." But fear was already growing inside him, and fear doesn't stay quiet for long. One morning, Mama Zola collapsed. The house filled with panic. Doctors found nothing wrong, but that night, the chanting returned louder. Someone had broken the rules. Someone had tried to escape, and now the price was coming due. Mama Zola called the family together. Her voice was weak, but her eyes were sharp. She said, "This family survives because someone sacrifices comfort, freedom, and sometimes happiness." Then she turned to Nandi, and Sibusiso understood everything. Nandi had been chosen long ago, and she had finally refused. The candles went out, the room went dark, and Mama Zola said one last thing.
If she refuses, someone else must take her place.
Sibusiso should have turned back. Every instinct told him to run, but curiosity is louder than fear, especially when the truth has been calling your name. The chanting grew clearer with every step. Low, slow, ancient, and then he crossed the doorway. The room was smaller than he imagined, but it felt deeper. The walls were covered in symbols carved by hand. Clay pots lined the floor. Animal skins hung like silent witnesses. Candles flickered as if they were breathing. And in the center of the room stood Mama Zola. Not the mother he knew, not the grandmother people respected. This version of her looked older, stronger, dangerous. She was chanting words that did not belong to this time. Sibusiso's heart pounded. Then she stopped. Mama Zola turned slowly, her eyes locked on to his. She was not surprised. "You were never good at listening," she said calmly. Sibusiso tried to speak, but his mouth was dry. The air pressed against his chest. For the first time in his life, he understood something terrifying. This house did not belong to them. They belonged to it. Mama Zola stepped closer. The coral beads on her chest clicked softly. "This family survives because of obedience," she said, "and obedience is learned through silence." She told him the wealth was not money alone. It was protection, power, longevity, and every generation paid a price. Sibusiso whispered, "What kind of price?" Mama Zola did not answer. Instead, she looked past him. Sibusiso turned. Nandi stood near the wall. She had been there the whole time. Her eyes were wet. Her hands were shaking. She could not look at him. That's when he understood. This was not new. This had been decided long ago. Mama Zola's voice lowered. "The chosen one must accept the burden willingly," she said. "But your sister has started to resist." Sibusiso felt anger rise in his chest. "You're destroying us," he said. Mama Zola replied calmly, "No, I am saving you." The candles flickered violently. The room grew colder. Mama Zola said one final sentence. "If Nandi refuses, the burden will move." Her eyes met Sibusiso's, and in that moment, he knew exactly who would be next.